Reading with your kids.
Hola, ni hao, konnichiwa, assalamu alaikum, shalom, mahaba, moni muli wanji, namaste, jambo, bienvenidos. Hi, my name is Jedley, and this is the Reading with Your Kids podcast. We're coming to you from the beautiful neighborhood of Reedville in the southwest corner of Boston, Massachusetts. We are so delighted that you are joining us in our mission to help families grow closer through reading. Please be sure to subscribe to the show on the iHeartRadio app, Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you find your podcast. We have two great guests today. Lindsey Leask will be here to celebrate I Am a Rainbow Baby. And a little bit later on, Ed Pacheco will be here to celebrate Little Lamb Shenanigans. Before we invite our guests in, we want to invite you to visit our website, readingwithyourkids.com. Be sure you go there and sign up for our free newsletter. Find out what's coming up on the show. Find out what you might have missed. And also download all sorts of great things. You can also find out about our live events, whether they're virtual or in person. We would love to bring some magic and some literacy and love of reading to your community. You can find it all at our website, readingwithyourkids.com. Join us right now from St. Mary's in the great state of Georgia. Our guest today is celebrating her beautiful picture book. It's called I Am a Rainbow Baby. Please welcome to the show, Lindsey Leask. Lindsey, welcome. How are you?
Thank you so much. I'm doing really good. How about you?
I'm wonderful. It is a roasting hot day here in Boston, but we're blessed with shade and a pool, so life is good.
Very nice. Yeah, today's been one of the first mostly sunny days in a while. It's usually rains every day here, but it's been more sunny lately, so it's been nice to go outside for a little bit.
You know, that is one of the weird things I experienced when I traveled to Florida, and I found the same thing in the countries when I visited Central America. It seems as if at 1 o'clock there's an appointment, and so 1 or 2 o'clock every day there's like a thunderstorm, and the heaven just opens and it pours, and then it stops, and everything's dry in about a half an hour.
It's funny, the first day we moved here, we went to a grocery store on the base, and we ran into this couple. They must have knew we were new, because they, asked us, did you just move here? And they were like, just be prepared. In the summer, it rains for about 20 minutes at 2 o'clock every day. And it's so true. It's 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock for a few minutes, and then it's done.
And, you referenced the fact that you were shopping on the base. Your husband is active military. So before we jump into the book, I want to thank your husband for his service, but I also want to thank you. I don't think we really appreciate the fact that our military men and women, they make tremendous sacrifices, but their family also makes tremendous sacrifices for this nation. So for that, I just want to thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. This is our first, active duty station, and I didn't realize how much, sacrifice you give up. I had to leave my teaching job in the middle of the year to move here, and, you just totally start fresh. I didn't have any friends moving here. My family is all the way back in Michigan, so definitely was more of a shock than I realized, and it's definitely a sacrifice for both sides, but in different ways. So, thank you for that. It's definitely a lot of pros and cons, but I love it.
Well, tell us about I Am a Rainbow Baby, please.
Of course. So it's a book that the idea just kind of came to me. We lost our first pregnancy around 12 weeks in November of 2018, and my husband and I both really struggled really hard. I struggled a lot with how to cope, and I feel like writing was a big help for me. I bought a journal, I think the next day after it happened, and just writing down my feelings was really therapeutic. So eventually a few months passed and we became pregnant with our daughter, and writing this book was so helpful for me. We loved her so much even before we were actually pregnant with her. So I wanted to write something that would help the parents going through this, but also for that rainbow baby to understand how loved they were, or they are, and how important they are, and just everything that goes into that. So I was not expecting it to be like a published book or like anything like that, but it just kind of snowballed and turned into that. So it's been a really fun journey so far, and it's so nice that it's out and people are reading it and everything.
Well, congratulations on that, and thank you for writing this book, because I know there are other books out there that touch on the subject. I'm happy that people are talking about it. I've shared here on the podcast that my wife and I lost our first pregnancy about 30 years ago, 28, 29, 30 years ago. And it was devastating. And there weren't, as I recall, I don't remember seeing any books on the subject.
Right.
Lindsey and I were talking, what I did hear a lot of was people coming up to me and thinking they were consoling me, saying things like, it's probably for the best, there's probably some problems. If the baby came into the world, would have had a lot of problems, and so you should consider yourself lucky. And Lindsey and I agreed that that's probably the most offensive thing you could say.
Yes. I also got a lot of, well, you're young, you have time, and it didn't matter. Like, I wanted that baby. Like, there was, no reason why, because I was young, I shouldn't be having that baby. So, definitely I know people have a good heart in trying to help, but it just doesn't come off that way when you're, like, it's devastating. Like, it's the worst pain. Like, I had no idea it was that, like, traumatizing. So, definitely I can relate there.
I'm mentioning this because I really do believe that all the people who were saying those things to my wife and to myself and to you and your husband, that they really meant well.
Yes.
And I just want you all to know that there are other things that you can say, like, I'm sorry.
Yes. I've posted about it a few times, like on my personal pages, just to like get, just to educate people, and people have messaged me saying like how thankful they are. Like, I didn't realize that was offensive, or I don't know what to say, and my friend's going through this right now. So I think, it's not to be like, rude to other people, like, oh, we don't want to hear your consoling, but there's just some more appropriate things to say in the moment. So it's nice to educate people on that.
So tell me about the book. Who are we going to meet in I Am a Rainbow Baby?
So it takes you through a family's journey. They become pregnant. It's like a husband and wife. They become pregnant. They're excited. They're planning baby names, comparing their baby to the sizes of small fruits, and then they do go through a loss, and you kind of go through them with that, the anxiety of getting pregnant again. You're excited but still nervous, like, is something going to happen? But eventually being reassured as, like, the baby gets bigger, and you're comparing the baby to the sizes of bigger fruits. And then at the end of the book, the rainbow baby gets brought into the picture, and just, it's told from the rainbow baby's point of view. So just watching their parents experience that loss and the pregnancy again. So you're following a little family, which is kind of mimicked off my family.
Isn't it wonderful that sometimes we create something and we start the journey of creation for ourselves? And, in your case, you started journaling to just help you deal with the pain that you were experiencing over the loss of your baby. And it turns into something beautiful that is helping loads of people all over the country.
Yes, absolutely. Like, sometimes it doesn't feel like I wrote it. Like, it's something I'm really proud of, and I don't say that about my work a lot, but yes, definitely, absolutely. It's just funny how it turned into that.
Yeah. Really, really fun. I'm wondering, what was your husband's reaction when I Am a Rainbow Baby came out and you were able to share that first physical book with him? He's always been such a big supporter of me and, like, anything I want to pursue. So he was really proud to, like, have it and, like, have it represent us and our journey and everything we've been on. He was the one that actually, like, said, like, you should try and find a publisher. Like, I think someone would be interested in this. Like,
it could help these other families. So I think he was really excited to like see it and physically hold it and everything. So that was awesome.
Why am I not surprised that somebody who is making the ultimate sacrifice for our nation thinks about helping other people and thinks about the fact that your book could be a benefit to other families?
Right. I think that's just like hardwired in them. They're just very selfless and think about other people. So yeah, definitely a character trait for him.
Yeah. What kind of conversations do you think families can have, not only a family with a rainbow baby, but other families that you know, a typical family that hasn't experienced this, but it decides, I want to bring this into the home. What kind of conversations do you think families can have after reading I Am a Rainbow Baby?
I think it's definitely an important, like loss is an important topic to talk about with young kids, and it can be hard. So, with my journey, I definitely learned that there were so many people around me who have experienced like child loss or a miscarriage. So I feel like if a family that hasn't experienced that brought the book into their home, like they can relate it to someone that they do know, like an aunt or friend or something. So I think it's a great way to teach loss. Like, we were expecting this baby, and you know, sometimes things happen that are out of our control, and you know, they're not there anymore. But also teaching the importance of a baby. Like, we loved you before you existed. We wanted you, like, you know, just like how these people were excited for their baby, like we were excited for you. So I think you can relate to it without like totally relating to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is a cool aspect to it, I think.
Yeah. And I know a lot of families out there, they think that, you know, they want to shield their kids from pain and sorrow, and so they don't want to talk about things like loss. But the reality is, it is part of our lives, and kids can handle it. And I think kids can grow from these conversations. And I think that they're real important to have. Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
So, Lindsey, I got to ask you, you didn't set out to be a children's author. You are a children's author. Have you caught the bug? Are we going to see more books coming from the mind of Lindsey Leask?
I would love that. I'm an elementary school teacher. I was an elementary school teacher for 4 years before we moved into the Navy and everything. So it's always been a really great idea I've always wanted to write books. But I just never, I guess, had the idea or knew how to publish a book. So now that I have those tools, I would love to publish another book. And I have a few ideas, but they're just not writing themselves like this book did. So hopefully one day we're out there again.
Hey, Lindsey, is there any place online where folks can go to learn more about I Am a Rainbow Baby and learn more about you?
Yes. So I have an Instagram for the book. It's just the book's title. So it's like at I Am a Rainbow Baby. The book is available on my publisher's website, and they have like a great snippet of the book and a little bit about me. So that's Mascot Publishers. It's on Amazon and Target's website, Walmart's website, Barnes & Noble, so pretty much anywhere you can buy books. But yeah, there's a few places you can find us.
Awesome. Well, we've had a great time talking about I'm a Rainbow Baby with the author Lindsey Leask. Hey, Lindsey, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
We hope you enjoyed our conversation with Lindsey Leask. Be sure to check out I Am a Rainbow Baby. Right now, we're welcoming Ed Pacheco to the studio, where shortly after we recorded this interview, Ed submitted his book, Little Lamb Shenanigans, to our Certified Great Read panel, and they came back and gave it 5 stars. Little Lamb Shenanigans is a Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read. You can find our entire review on our website, readingwithyourkids.com. Right now, sit back and meet the author, Ed Pacheco. Join us right now for one of my favorite places in the world, Dartmouth, Massachusetts. I'm really excited. Our guest today is here to celebrate Little Lamb Shenanigans. Please welcome to the show, Ed Pacheco. Ed, how are you?
Hi. I'm great. Thank you, Jedley. Thanks for asking.
Tell us about Little Lamb Shenanigans.
Little Lamb Shenanigans is a book that I've been working on, believe it or not, for over 20 years. It is a story based on a song that I used to sing my daughters when I would put them to bed. At the time, I had 3 daughters. Now I have 6. It was this great, fun little song that I came up with that I would sing to kind of help them ease into bedtime. And I would always think, I think this would make a good story. So I would scribble out some notes and I'd tuck it away, and life would happen. Work happens, you have another child, this happens, that happens, and you pick up the story again and you play with it some more, and then you put it away. And it was about 2 years ago when my youngest daughter, who is now 12, she's going to be 13 next month, finished elementary school. And it kind of gave me that pre-empty nest feeling that parents get when the last one is getting ready to move on. And it kind of freaked me out a little bit. And I said, I better do something with this book sooner than later. And the cards just kind of fell into place, and I started really working in earnest on the book. And then I ran into a significant impediment, which was an illustrator that I could work with. Because having worked on this book for so long, I knew what I wanted my characters to look like, in part because the main character, Jenna Marie, who's this young lady behind me, she carries so many great values and personality traits of all of my daughters that I had a really clear view of what I wanted her to look like. And I tried to work with 1 or 2 different illustrators, and it wasn't working. And I had made contact with one illustrator through the IBPA, which is the Independent Book Publishers Association. And at that point, she wasn't available. And then in March of last year, just as COVID was starting to heat up, I sent her an email just saying, hello, how are you? Just wanted to check in. And she wrote me back and she said, it's so weird because I was actually thinking about you and your project. And, I was wondering if you had ever gotten it done. And I said, I hadn't. So she said, let me send you some sketches and let's see. And I have to tell you, Jedley, the first time I saw the sketches of the character, it was serendipity, man. It was the character the way I wanted her. And we just started working really hard from there. She is from Texas. I'm from Massachusetts. So, not only do you have time zone to deal with, but, we also were contending with COVID. So there was no, in-person kind of meetings, a lot of emails back and forth. And we wrapped up all of the illustrations in mid-January of this year. And here we are, finished product.
That's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So we have to give your illustrator a shout out.
Christina Zach Young is the greatest illustrator on the planet, in my opinion. The illustrations in this book are absolutely fantastic. And, as much of it was my input, her raw talent is what was able to get the figures there. She deserves a huge shout out. So Christina Zach Young, you are a rock star illustrator.
So tell us about the story that she illustrated for you.
So Little Lamb Shenanigans is about our lady here, Miss Jenna Marie. She is an awesome kid. She is, as I mentioned, she's the embodiment of all of my daughters, little bits and pieces here and there. And she is a great student. She's a great friend. She's a great kid. Super friendly, just nails it all. Very bright. She loves science. And she has one small character flaw. And that character flaw is she can never, ever get to bed on time at night. No matter what happens, she always gets distracted one way or another. It's either with her playing with her pet cat or listening to music or reading. But every night it's a process for her to get to bed on time without getting in trouble. And that's where the story picks up. It goes through all of the shenanigans that her family has to go through in order to kind of help her figure out what works for her to get to bed on time at night. And it's just a real fun story about the things that, go on, and, the resolution at the end, which circles around the song that I ultimately used to sing to my daughters when they were little. I think this is probably going to be one of the first children's books that you will ever see, and I will actually show you, that has a disclaimer page on the front when you open it that says, "Warning, user discretion is advised. This book is for giggles and shenanigans before bedtime. This is not for serious bedtimes."
I'm curious, what kind of conversations do you think families can have as they're reading your book together?
There's a couple of things that you can take. One, universally, I don't think there's a parent on the planet that doesn't have some kind of issue at night with their little ones when it comes time to bed. Either, we've all dealt with have you brushed your teeth? I have to go to the bathroom. I need a drink of water. There's a monster under my bed. There's something outside my window. And I think one of the conversations that you can have is, what actually helps the child come up with a process that works with them and your ideals of what bedtime could look like. For me, as a parent, it was always about fun. I always felt that a child that went to bed having fun always went to bed faster than a child that it was just, okay, go brush your teeth, get your PJs on, say your prayers, get into bed. Good night. Tuck you in, tuck, tuck, good night, bang, done. I always had, and I as a parent was fortunate to have the time to be able to create a process with them that they used to look forward to. And they knew if they weren't in bed by a certain time, then they weren't going to experience the process. So that was their reward.
Now, you said you've been working on the story for a long time. Have you always hoped that one day you'd be a children's author?
I don't know if I hoped that I would be a children's author. What I was hoping for was two things. One, to complete the book, because I really felt that the book was something that could be shared with other children. And two, this is something that my own children knew that I had been working on. And one of the things that I've tried to instill in them, even as they've gotten older, I have one she's 24, she has a great career, she's getting married next year. I have another daughter who's a junior in college. I have a stepdaughter that's a sophomore in college. I've tried to instill in them that if you start a project, you finish a project. Doesn't matter how you get there. What matters is that you get there. And so it was important for me that I finish this book, not only for them, but for myself. And by doing that, I created a kind of a role model, if you will, of following through on what you say. One of the fun things that I was able to do with the book is, even though my future son-in-law isn't included in the credits on the back of the book, I was able to include him in the book in one of the illustrations in an Easter egg. And I've actually hidden a few different Easter eggs in the book. One for my hometown of New Bedford, which is right next door to Dartmouth, where I was born, where I was raised as a child. I was actually born in Fall River. And my hometown now, where I've lived for many years, Dartmouth, Massachusetts. So there's two Easter eggs there that I've hidden. There's an Easter egg for my future son-in-law. There's an Easter egg for my wife. So I had a lot of fun with hiding these little graphics. And then I'm proud to say that I am a member of the Freemasons. I've been a brother Mason for about 12 years. So I actually hid an Easter egg in the book for my brother Masons as well, because we do a lot of great community work, and I wanted to hide something in there for them as well.
Wow.
So it was fun. It's really fun.
That's really neat. We talk about the different ways that families can experience books. One of the things I hear from parents all the time is, my kid wants me to read this book. I've read it 4,000 times already. I can't, how? And the secret is you can read a book in a different way. The same book you can read in so many different ways. And And adding the Easter eggs is just a great way that you can experience Little Lamb Shenanigans with your kids together, just searching for those different Easter eggs. Well, I know people are going to want to know where they can go to find out more about Little Lamb Shenanigans and also find out more about you.
So they can get it on Amazon.com. They can get it on BarnesandNoble.com. Or if they need a large order, so if they're a teacher or daycare and they want to order a bunch for their program, they can email me directly at therealedpacheco@gmail.com. The other nice thing that too is this book, because literacy is so important, is not just an English book. It's also been translated into Spanish and Portuguese. So if there's Spanish-speaking households with grandparents or aunts or uncles that Spanish is their primary language, they don't have to miss out with being able to share the language, the culture with the children, because there is Spanish versions and there's Portuguese versions also available on Amazon and on BarnesandNoble.com.
That's wonderful. We've had a great time speaking to the author of Little Lamb Shenanigans, Ed Pacheco. Hey, Ed, thanks for being on the Reading with Your Kids podcast.
Jesse, thank you so much. It was real fun.
Please be sure to join us for the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. Our guest will be Vicky Fang. We'll also be joined by Susan Rose. Hey, you heard that Ed Pacheco's book, Little Lamb Shenanigans, is a Reading with Your Kids certified great read. If our panel believes that a book is worthy of 4 or 5 out of 5 stars, it becomes a certified great read. If you are a parent looking for a new book to add to your family library, I'd suggest you visit our website, readingwithyourkids.com, and click on our certified great read wall of fame. If you are the author of a fantastic children's book and would like to have your book considered, go to readingwithyourkids.com, click on the author's click here button at the top of the page, scroll on down to certified great reads. You can find out how to submit your book to our panel. You can also find out all the benefits that come with being a certified great read. I want to thank the folks who made today's show so wonderful. Of course, I want to thank our guest, Lindsey Leask. Be sure to check out I Am a Rainbow Baby. And Ed Pacheco, author of Little Lamb Shenanigans, a Reading with Your Kids certified great read. Also want to thank my team, Alejandra Doherty, Fatima Khan, Justina Thompson, Helen Frazier. I want to thank my beautiful wife for all the support she gives me. I most of all want to thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. And as always, thank you so very much for taking the time to make the world a better place by reading with your kids. I'll be looking for you in the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast.